Welcome to Can Angels Fly. I'm Nancy, and today I'm here to answer a riddle. So let's begin. Knock, knock. Why did the ship topple over? Whatever the answer to this riddle is, I bet you don't know it because our authority figures didn't tell us. At this point in time, I like to answer this riddle by sharing a life experience I had a few years ago. I think it was probably about in 2015, late 2015. I'll make it make sense by the end of this video. I believe that was it was an announcement out that there would be like a meteor shower. So I packed myself up to be able to spend the night outside and to stargaze, to sky gaze, to watch the asteroid shower, the meteor shower. And I sat outside that night from about 9:30 to about 6:30 in the morning. In the course of that time frame, I did see the asteroid showers, the meteors shooting back and forth across the sky. But they were so distant and they were few in between. But there was something else interesting that happened in the course of that time period. I sat in the middle of my driveway in my, what do you call it? Lounge chair, picnic table chair, lounge chair. Now, this lounge chair was just like any other chair as far as height. When you sit your caboose in the seat, your feet are firmly planted on the ground. Now, this particular chair did have like a rotational device where you could turn in any direction, easily. And you could literally lounge back, which means you could lean forward and slightly to the sides, making it easy to lounge. On this particular evening, I was leaning back because my focus was the sky. So I was watching the events in the sky, which was the asteroid showers. But as the night went on, something strange started happening. I would see the moon in like the east, I guess it would be the northeastern sky. And then all of a sudden, the moon would jump past the trees that were in the distance and move to more of the, let me see where I am. They would move south, start moving southwest. Well, the moon. The moon will move southwest. It would move from, hold on, I'm trying to get my bearings, y'all. It will move from like northeast toward southwest within moments. And I had noticed it, but that wasn't my focus. So I just kept on watching the sky to see how many comets or asteroids I could see shoot across the sky. Again, they were far and few is the term I'm trying to get to, far and few. So, I just sat out there and I watched. I said, okay, eventually, maybe it'll clear up. Once again, I watched the moon jump from one side of the sky to the other. So that drew my attention. So I started focusing there. So actually, I'm facing basically east from my my home, my perspective. And so now that I'm concentrating in that direction, rather than kind of panning the sky, I began to have some other experiences and witness some other things. What I noticed relative to the moon moving from one side of the sky to the other within a matter of seconds and to an extreme is that the chair I was sitting in, the one that I described, slowly began to roll me out onto the concrete. So I'm like, is my chair broke? I get back up in my chair, scoot it back, and try to lay back. Because the position that I was in at the time, looking at the moon and its strange movement, didn't demand or require me to sit back, lean back to lounge as it did when I was watching the asteroid showers, the meteor showers. I could just sit and I had this wide view of the sky where the moon did that strange move from one place in the sky to the other. So I set the chair back up, plant my feet firmly on the ground, which means that I'm no longer able to, rotate the chair in any direction. I just wanted a straightforward look. And so when I planted myself, I could feel through my body this pull. I'll call it a pull. And the pull did what? Once again, somehow, some way, it was like removing my feet from up under me gradually, causing the chair to lean forward and for me to eventually slide out the chair onto the concrete once again. Now, you have to use your imagination to see that, because remember, sit in any chair. The chair is what? A foot and a half from the floor, something like that. Your caboose is planted firmly in the seat and your feet are planted firmly on the ground. This chair was no different. How could I, or what would make the chair lean forward? Well, it couldn't lean forward until my feet were from up under it. So you got to remember, my feet are sliding from up under me. I feel this pull. When I really paid attention, I feel this pull pulling my feet out from under me, which permitted the chair then to lean as demanded by gravity forward, pushing me out onto the concrete. Now that little process happened about 3 or 4 times. Immediately, I would get back up in the chair. I'm a bit concerned, like, am I falling asleep? What's happening? What is this subtle sensation, this pull that I'm feeling? Now I'm kind of just running it all together. The experience that I'm speaking of was stretched out from the time I went outside. Well, it didn't start immediately when I went outside. Because again, I went outside, I want to say 9, 10-ish or something like that, and was out to 6:30 in the morning. So we're going to say I sat outside first, maybe a couple hours. So I'm outside. And so now I'm aimed to the eastern side of the sky where I can see the moon move back and forth from one position in the sky to the other within seconds. So it's not like I'm seeing the moon progress from here to there. No progression in between. It's just the moon is in this area of the sky, which would be the northeast side of the sky, over to the moving toward the southwest side of the sky. From here, boom, to there, boom. So I continue to watch. I'm going through the process in the chair. So I'm tripping out. I'm questioning myself. Are you falling asleep? Sit the chair back, keep putting your feet up under yourself. What's taking place here? Scrappy, don't even start. Scrappy? You're asking where our guard dog at? He's on duty and I'm making a video, okay? I'll be done in just a moment. So let me continue with the story. I apologize for the interruption. Um, so while I'm going through this challenge with my chair, I'm still watching the sky. I'm still watching the moon. I got the chair pushing me out. I got the moon jumping from one side of the sky to the other with no progression in the middle. I end up noticing something. I kept thinking, hey, the trees look like they are moving. Now, that wouldn't sound too strange because we know trees kind of dance in the wind, no problem. No. Every now and then, what I noticed, I correlated that when the moon would move from one side of the sky to the other, the trees were actually bending toward the east. And then when the moon would move back to its starting point, the trees would lean up. I also experienced, remember, I'm constantly experiencing this in the seat, slide slowly. I'm watching myself. Finally, I got to the point where now I'm seeing all these things correlating together. The moon moving from one side of the sky, suddenly no progression in between. I'm watching the trees lean and bend and come back up. And I'm feeling and experiencing myself now to the point where my feet are sliding from up under me, causing the chair to tilt and to slide me out onto the ground. That experience that I share is the answer, contains the answer to why the cruise ship, toppled over. And the reason why you don't know the answer to the riddle is because our authorities did not tell you the truth about what is taking place in this physical place called Earth. I came to understand from that experience that the Earth itself was contorting. And as the Earth, I'll say, contorted, it, from my perspective, in my driveway, looking east, facing east, from my perspective, it made me see the moon move from one side of the sky to the other with no progression in between. But the reality of it is the moon had never left its position other than its slow progress through the night sky. But it was actually that the Earth was contorting. The trees were evidence of the Earth itself contorting as they bowed eastward. Me in the chair with my feet planted was also physical evidence that the Earth was contorting. I testify here that I could feel a subtle pulling on me. And that pulling was gravity causing my feet to level out with the earth, slide down, which was from up under my body. Therefore, allowing the chair that had the ability to pivot, is the word pivot, to go ahead and lean as well, lean forward as commanded by gravity to stay parallel to the ground, which ultimately ended up having me slide out of the chair. So, why is this experience important? Why is it significant? Because, again, I lived out evidence. I saw it. I experienced what was taking place. What was taking place was the earth was contorting. So, the answer to the riddle is that the earth has been contorting, and our authority figures have not been sharing that with us. I want to give you two examples of when the earth contorted and our authority figures did not provide us the truth about why certain events, physical events, happened in our world. Instead, they pointed fingers at people like me and you, the workers. One such event was a train derailed in India in November 2016. I testify here that it had to be in 2015 that I had that experience. I think it was 2015. So it might have been early 2016, but I don't remember it being hot. I remember being kind of cool because I had a couple of things out there with me. I don't know, but it was somewhere in that area, and it preceded. Is that right? Precede. It came before these actual events that were featured in the news. And this was when the train derailed in India in November of 2016. Why did the train become derailed from its tracks? It is because the earth itself was contorting during that time period. Now, I move to answer the riddle that opened up this video. And the riddle was, why did the cruise ship topple over? Now, it was a cruise ship, an Alaskan trip, that toppled over September 2016. I recall them really giving the captain of the ship some real business. I mean, they were tearing his reputation apart as a captain. But think about how many ships sail the open seas. Think about the advancements in technology that have allowed hands-free navigation, X, Y, and Z, more and more and more. We are covered. It takes very little manpower or oversight to conduct business that is regularly conducted. What am I saying? They can plot the course. They have a whole crew readily available, always watching. Plus, they got all the technological radars, et cetera, navigation, all that kind of stuff, hands-free, with very little. Oh, I didn't know. Sorry, I was looking at my little thing, got a little art on the back. With very little having to have some oversight or lots of words. The answer to the riddle, why did that ship topple over in September 2016 on that Alaskan trip? It is because during that time period, the earth was contorting. But our authority figures didn't let us know that our earth is contorting. It's reconfiguring ourselves, and therefore it's throwing off our navigational tools. And it is, how can I say it? Not only our navigational tools, the earth itself is contorting. Therefore, when it affected the waters, that boat was trying to rebalance itself based on the new form, I guess, or dimensions of the earth. Even though those dimensions or that change was temporary, as I experienced either earlier that year or at the close of the year before. Folks, watch out. Just keep your eyes open, because there's something taking place in our physical realm, and our authority figures are not letting us know. Anyway, thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly and listening to me solve one of our riddles. Until next time, bye.